All right. Wow, another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. Welcome, everybody watching us live or listening or watching live or in syndication. And as always, I am your host, Adam Smith, with Just the Tips Coaching. And with us, pretty much also, as always, unless she has the COVID, is our marketing director. Morning, Jill.
Good morning.
And we have a really cool guest for you guys today, a repeat guest. And those of you that pay attention to us for the last almost 5 years now know that we don't do a whole lot of that. But when we do come across somebody that we really have a connection with, that really has good content for our audience, that really does good work themselves, that has a warm and respected and liked presence in our community, we do ask them back and sometimes back and back and back. So please welcome back to the show, Christina Ray. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be back.
So I'm going to cut right to it. One, because I know that you're short on time. So we're going to run our podcast a little shorter than we normally would, or maybe Jen and I will yammer about a few things after the fact. And I don't think the people watching our video cast are going to miss the fact that you are sitting in your car.
That is correct.
Right.
I'm in my car.
Okay, and if memory serves from our pre-broadcast discussion, you're sitting outside of Starbucks.
That is also correct.
Like, I've got mine in my hand. I guess I can do that with my other hand. I'm not going to lie. I'm a big fan.
Yes.
But as it turned out, there were a few things you had to adapt and adjust to this morning. Internet's down at your place.
Yep.
Yeah, and we all know how that goes. Technology kicks ass when it's working.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So had to improvise here.
Okay. And in the interim, you were able to pick up a new seller that you're going to meet with right at the end of our normal broadcast. So this morning, Christina's on a let's improvise track. Let's get in the car. Let's find good Wi-Fi. Let's do it somewhere near where we're going to meet our new sellers. And we're going to roll with the punches, baby.
Absolutely. I feel like you have to be able to adapt in this business, and I'm used to it. So it was just, I just decided to do what would work best because I absolutely couldn't miss this. I love coming on, and I have to be on time for my appointment. So it's great. Everything will be fine.
It'll be fine.
You're getting an inside look of my car.
You know what? And don't be surprised that while it may seem abnormal, and I know Jen had mentioned we've had other podcast guests doing broadcasts from inside their car. We even had one do a broadcast from inside their car with their child in the back seat, which actually turned out to be an adorable broadcast. It was hilarious. But I think it's important to understand that we got to roll with the punches. And this was a life lesson that I'll admit was imparted on me by a bunch of 12-year-olds. I'm not kidding. Years and years ago, I ran a program at my daughter's elementary school. That's how long ago this was. She just finished her master's degree. And at the time when I was a kid, we called it Olympics of the Mind. And I can't remember what we call it now or what they called it when these kids gave me this lesson. But these kids, this group of sixth graders, they did the challenge that has been going on for decades where you build the bridge out of balsa wood and see how much weight it can hold. And they did really well. And they took this bridge to the state tournament here at the University of Denver. And when they got to the tournament, they realized they had built it wrong. They had built it differently than how they had built it when it won whatever competition they were in to get them to the state tournament. And they were okay with it. Like, you know what? We did it. It is what it is. Let's compete. Let's see how much weight it can hold. And we'll learn and do it better next year. And for me, that was just this awe-inspiring moment. I still talk about it. It's in my book that I learned that it's important to have a grip on how you react, not just how you act, but how you react when shit doesn't go your way, right? When that mental breakdown, and thank you to my personal coach, that's what we did, not in the stereotypical sense of what a mental breakdown means, but when the expectation and the result doesn't match, we have a breakdown. And yeah, those kids gave me an invaluable lesson in how we roll with the punches, which I think is what real estate agents kind of have to do if you're going to be good at what you do.
I would agree 100%. I was telling Jen, I mean, there's many times where I learned very early on that Starbucks was the place to go when you had to get an offer in. If it is down to the wire, I would pull right over. I always have my laptop. But something with me, I mean, I'm very true to my word. If I commit to something, I'm going to do it. And, little things that happen it's not going to hinder me from doing it. I'll just figure out and make it happen. So, I think absolutely realtors have to be able to adapt, because even our day-to-day can change in an instant. So,
all right. Well, I do think it's important that everybody watching, everybody listening, you and I and Jen all included, understand that chance favors the prepared mind.
mm-hmm.
Okay. So you mentioned you've got your laptop with you everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
What other kinds of things do you put in place? What kind of other, things do you set up, pitfalls that you avoid, so on and so forth, so that chance does favor your prepared mind? What other kinds of things do you constantly keep running around, rattling around? I'll bet the car's always full of gas.
Yeah, well,
if you get a chance to top off the tank, I'll bet your cell phone's always charged. If you get a chance to plug in, take it.
Yes, I have an outlet in the car, so I have my charger even ready. But as far as what I do in order to be as prepared as possible, I found that just taking even 30 minutes on a Sunday to really map out my week is a game changer. So, if I'm trying to just go into the week, looking at my schedule Monday morning, I'm not as prepared, and it's more chaotic. So I'd rather be proactive than reactive. So that's one of my biggest things that I do is every Sunday I take the time, to kind of clear out my inbox, set up my week. And, again, things change. I mean, today I'm hoping to have a house under contract soon. So we'll have inspection and all of that good stuff, coming up. So there's things that I can add into my schedule, but at least I know what my rocks are. And I definitely have rocks in place that they're my non-negotiables. If I don't do them, I know that it's going to over time hurt my business. So examples of rocks in my schedule would be calling clients for their birthdays. I love reaching out to them the day before their birthday just to let them know that I know they're going to get inundated with calls, tomorrow for your birthday. So let me be the first to tell you. And I love celebrating all of the good things in my client's life and maybe the not so good things, So the rocks are definitely paying attention to if there are, victories in their lives or if there's hardships, how can I, love on my clients and help them? If they recently had surgery, do we send a gift card for DoorDash that they have dinner or something? The rocks are definitely, those times where I'm focused on just being there for clients, being there for friends and family that are maybe going through stuff. And then I can let, the other things with my business kind of fall into place. But the rocks are absolutely set. So
I like referring to them as the rocks. That's really cool. We do see a lot of chatter about birthday campaigns. Are we doing it the day before? Are we doing it day of? Are we doing it day after? I see a lot of belated birthday campaigns, which I do think is a fine idea.
Sure.
Obviously, the idea is to make sure that your audience knows you're thinking about them. I think that one's really cool. I am getting a second crack right now at Atomic Habits. I had read it. Now I'm doing it on Audible. Jen actually convinced me to sign up for Audible, although Jen has like a 30 or 45-minute commute. Mine's like 5 miles, so I don't get the same kind of time in front of the car stereo as she does. But Atomic Habits really kind of outlines a lot of this stuff, right? The rocks, as you put it, are these tiny little things, just these 1% increments, but over time make an enormous difference, right? If we can find 100 rocks, we're going to have 100% improvement. And if we don't do our rocks, if we don't exercise that, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but over time it adds up into a 100% negative type of environment. So yeah, that is really cool content. I like this rocks idea, and that should definitely be something that all of us, no matter what line of work you're in. Obviously, our audience is mostly real estate agents, mortgage originators, some other high ticket direct to consumer salespeople. But really, the bottom line is that this is something that people could take into their activity, their day to day, for no matter who you are.
Absolutely.
And that seems really big to me. I'm going to get better. I was really bad this weekend about looking at my calendar for the week, cleaning out my inbox. I'll admit, I did sit down to my inbox with 100 emails to deal with this morning. Yeah.
That's not like you, Adam.
Monday.
I know, it's not like me. And what was the other thing? Oh, yeah, my brain is so scattered. We talked about it before we went live that I have a high school senior who's graduating this week, and a massive shit show of things that are going on this week with ceremonies and dinners and family in town, and who's going to coordinate getting my grandmother to the graduation dinner, and on and on. Yeah, I probably should have been a little better about looking over my calendar this week over the weekend instead of this morning while juggling 100 emails. So yeah, that one's also a really, really solid tip, and I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and I think that, rocks with your schedule, professionally, but I also think that you have to have the rocks for yourself personally. I found that I was able to burn myself out very quickly when I got into real estate because I just went all the time. There was no shutting down. So
I think that's where you were when we had you on the show last.
Probably. So I've made some tweaks, and I feel like it's helped quite a bit. And to me, it can be different for everyone. But my biggest thing was I wouldn't describe myself as like a huge morning person. Like I jump out of bed and I'm just so excited to, get started. But for me, I was super reactive every morning. My kids were waking me up and then I'm reacting to the day. So what I found was, hey, you've got to get up a little bit earlier so that you're setting your day how you want to start it. I started working out twice a week, which has been good because you need a sense of stress relief in this business. And, that's allowed me to do that. I may bump it up, but for me, after how long it's been since I worked out 2 days a week made sense. It seemed obtainable. Yeah. So I think that, again, your personal rocks are just as important as the professional ones too, because you can't pour from an empty cup. I know that's a little cheesy, but it's true.
I'm going to take it a step further. My personal rocks are on my damn calendar.
Yeah.
Every morning my phone rings, get on the treadmill. Well, Monday through Friday. My phone dings my calendar when it's time to change the furnace filter. Mm. When it's the morning to take out the trash. So yeah, I find that the integration of the rocks and the calendar are crucial. I cannot emphasize enough how the colloquialism that happiness is a well-oiled calendar.
Yes.
But it's really, really true. And it's one of the big things that we impart in our program. In fact, our next newest coaching client, Jen doesn't even Jen kind of knows about the one we're onboarding here probably this week or next. That's one of the things that is going to, he's actually not in sales. So this is a unique twist, but his calendar is going to become the most important tool he's got. Jen is a great example. She has a freaking social media calendar. Mm-hmm. She knows exactly what she's posting, when she's posting, where she's posting for the purposes of her marketing director gigs for multiple companies. So yeah, that kind of regiment, that kind of structure, and then of course the ability to, or the intelligence, I should say, to actually open up the damn calendar on Sunday and look at what the hell you're doing the next week is probably a really good idea. That was not a nuclear blast that just went off in my office, everybody. For those of you that are watching, I don't know why the lighting is all goofy, but neither here nor there. Although, yes, that is my mutt barking out in the hall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what she's barking at, but neither here nor there.
Hey Adam, if you want to take calls from your car, the dogs you can't hear the dogs from your car, so that's another
Oh.
benefit.
Pro tip.
Podcasting from the car.
You know,
and you have an inverter in your car. You said you got a real outlet.
I really do. Yeah, Ford is amazing.
I'm gonna put my 50-inch monitor here on the dashboard and see how that works. Probably make it a little hard to drive. I don't think the police would have a. But they wouldn't be big fans. Let's put it that way. Yeah, so really cool stuff. All right, so give us some insight as to what's changed for you since we had you on last. Obviously, a little more respect for your calendar.
Yes.
You're obviously better about the rocks.
Yes.
This has obviously made your personal life a little more enjoyable.
Correct.
Organization is key that way.
Yep.
What does your business look like? Where does it come from since we last had you on the show? What is your team structure like? Do you have any support staff? What have you been up to from a business perspective in the last, it's probably been 18 months?
Yeah.
April 14th of 2021 was the last time.
April
Christina
of
was on the
21. Okay, so
Yep.
not too long.
Yep.
15 months.
13 months. Yeah.
Oh, 13 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
My math isn't really all that good. I'm a mortgage broker.
That's okay. So yeah, business is great. I feel like the past 2 years have been obviously a very interesting market, especially Q1 and Q2. But this year I felt like if it was going to mimic last year, I felt way more prepared than I ever felt, because last year I felt like was a complete anomaly, and I had never even heard what appraisal gap meant, before then. And so, so I think, but business is great. I think, every year my goal is to get a bit better and continue my education. I think education is so critical, so that's something that is really important that I continue. But my business this year, my goal is 15 to 20 million. For me, that's a good spot. It's I usually get close to 15 million, so if I can get over that hump, that'll be a huge win for me this year and something that I'm really shooting for. I'm still solely working by referral. I don't do any, marketing. And I just love working by referral. I would much rather love on my clients than pay for Zillow leads or marketing leads, because that's just not, it just doesn't fit my, the way that I would, yeah. It's just not me. And I think, going into this, I always wanted to be authentic. I didn't want to try to just do what, other top agents were doing. I had to do something that felt good to me, and working by referral was it. This year I have 5 mentees that I'm mentoring, which is really awesome.
That's
yeah.
Cool.
So 2 have been in the business, and then 3 were brand new. And that's been a whole new, experience for me. In my past life of, my past career, I was the director of operations and training for an apartment developer. So I was definitely doing a lot of training in that role, and I missed it. So ultimately, when I had the opportunity to be there to mentor some agents within our company, I thought, I was super excited to do that. And I don't think that there's anything that is a secret in this business. I think that there's plenty of business to go around, and we can all be successful in the way that we want to be. Some agents are very happy doing 1 deal a month, and for them, if that's their case, great. We all have our different goals. So it's been fun to help them realize like what their goals are, and then also, really just train them and make sure that they know like the best practices, and that they're putting the best foot forward, and they're really representing our business brand well.
I think that that's important. And there are a couple of other things I really want to emphasize when we talk about this, because training people, educating people, teaching, speaking, lecturing, and on both sides, you guys have got to know that you got to be able to get that content yourselves as well. But I think what we tend to gloss over a lot when we do this, or when we talk about this, is that this is something that is a direct result of an abundance mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And if you maintain it, if you have it, then one, not only are you confident enough in how you do business, in your clientele, in your ability to attract repeat and referral business, that you know you do your job well enough that you are happy to help people learn how to do the job well enough to have that same mindset, to understand that there is enough business to go around for everybody that does do that kind of work. And I think we find the people that are a little more closed off about it, that are a little less open about sharing, this is exactly what I do. This is how my contact management system works.
Mm-hmm.
These are the tools I use to stay in front of people. These are the things I do, whether it's pop buys or birthday campaign or whatever the case may be, to ensure that my clients are remembering me, that they will use me again when it comes time to buy or sell, that when they have conversations with people about buying or selling, that my name is the name that comes up. This is all of the stuff that I do. And the people that don't do that, I think, are the ones that aren't probably doing the job well.
Right.
And they're afraid that somebody like Christina, who is going to steal that business away from them. I think that's really where that clicks in people's minds, in salespeople's minds. So yeah, Christina, we recognize you, we thank you, we praise you for having an abundance mindset and being willing to share what you know and how you operate with so many people, including, did you say five direct mentees?
Five.
Wow.
5. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think that Jen would agree that we don't have people on our show that have a scarcity mindset.
No, absolutely not.
It just never happens.
Well, because they're typically not successful. They're typically
there
not
are
for
some. Don't get me
but
wrong.
not for long.
They're okay. They might slip through our cracks when it comes to how we vet guests for the show.
Right.
But I would be willing to bet that once they see, hey, we'd love to have you on our podcast, they either ignore it or say no thank you, or some people will say things that are less appropriate than that even. Yeah, so right, Jen's got like 900% increases every week on listenership on the podcast. And while we are streaming this live right now to YouTube, for those of you interested, we actually had somebody turn us down because the episodes only get a certain number of views on YouTube. And like, it's a podcast, so we don't really care. That's not our focus. We could promote the YouTube channel, but we don't. So but my guess is that it's probably something more related along those lines. All right, Christina, tell us what else you want us to know, because we know we got to let you go early.
Yeah, sorry, I apologize about that, but I think my biggest thing is just be authentic. Get in, if you're going to be in real estate, do it for the right reasons. I host classes at our brokerage too, and the biggest thing that I tell people is, like, our job is to literally love on our people and to help them through probably one of the most important, stressful, life events that they're going to experience. So if you have that mindset that that's what you're there to do, is literally be there. I tell my clients all the time, I'm like, give me your stress. I don't want you to be feeling worried or stressed about anything. That's what I'm here for, is to help alleviate that, because that's my job. So just be authentic, be good to people and work hard. And I think that, your business will pay off. And like you said, Jen, I mean, the agents that don't do it, their business will probably be short-lived, and it is what it is, but that's not how I'll ever have my business. So I'm in it for the long haul. I'm going to be like 95 still selling real estate. And I'm fine with that. I'm happy.
No, don't be fine with that. Oh, wow. Okay, we're going to talk to Christina more about eventual exit strategy, but yeah.
Another podcast, maybe.
Or several. Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard anybody throw 95 out there as that random number.
Yeah, it's the joke, like, in my family. I'm like, people are like, what's your retirement age? And I'm like, I don't really know. I don't know.
104.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, Christina, thank you so much. I know that you've got to scoot to your appointment. So thank you. And thank
Thanks,
you for
Christina.
the improvisation. And before you go, I hope everybody really picked up on that one last nugget there, that if your business has a single purpose focus of just taking care of your client, the rest will fall into place.
Yeah.
You'll get paid, you'll get more clients, you'll get paid, you'll get more clients. So thank you for that. Have a wonderful day. Tell your new clients we said hello.
I will. Thank
Okay.
you guys so much. I appreciate you.
You bet.
Bye.
Bye.
She's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love having Christina on the show, no question. And I know it's awkward that we ever cut a guest loose early. So she's probably the first.
I think she is the first.
We don't usually let people off the hook. So, Christina, if you do go back and watch this, listen to this, and I know Jen will get you all of that information on how to do that, how to share it with your audiences. Thank you for carving out that kind of time with us on what was clearly a relatively hectic morning for you. I've got to be honest, if a wrench was thrown in my works where my internet was down, that would throw me a little more off balance than it did you, apparently, or maybe you were just really good at hiding that from us and our audience. So we truly appreciate your time. She's great. We love having Christina.
She's awesome.
Oh, and Christina, say hi to your dad and Robin for us. We love them too. Some wonderful past clients of ours at the Core Finance Group. All right, so what else are we up to, Jen? We got a lot of shit in the hopper.
Yeah, I mean, Mindy just reminded me you're doing a class this week at one of the Keller offices.
Just one?
That's this week, and then we've got Canyon Title. Hagrid's about to come say hi.
Hi, Hagrid. So,
he's going to be the guest for the last 5 minutes.
That's Keller Williams downtown.
Yep.
And I don't remember what day. That's Thursday morning?
Thursday at 9.
Thursday at 9, okay. And yeah, we're doing something with Canyon Title. Is that next week?
Next week. I want to say next Wednesday.
And that's free for agents.
Yep.
And lenders.
And yes, agents and lenders. That one is at 9:30 to 10:30. So
that's also in Denver.
Yes. Yeah.
Is the information on that in our text code?
It will be when I get off this call, because
okay. So if you'll wait a few minutes and then use our text code. Okay. What else can they find out by using our text code? Well, maybe we should tell them what it is.
Right. Text tips to 63566. The biggie is Social Media Day Denver. We're about 6 weeks out.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah. So we've got pizza covered for lunch, which I'm really excited about.
And that's from the pizzeria on campus. So that's going to be at the Auraria campus. Big shout to Metropolitan State University. They have a social media degree program and have always been amazing about providing a space and an intern and on and on. So thank you so much to them again. You did move that, though. We used to do that event in the fall, and you did move it to the actual Social Media Day holiday of June 30th, where there are Social Media Day conferences going on all over the country.
I did. Yeah. For one, last year we did 2 conferences within 4 weeks of each other, and it took me about 3 months to recover from that. So I wasn't about that.
Sorry.
Now
you're not doing 3 conferences in that time frame. Lucky you.
Man, you just reminded me. Yeah, we're still doing that, aren't we? Yeah. So Social Media Day Denver, though, is Thursday, June 30th at Metro State University. We got some great speakers, everything from somebody talking about Facebook ads to LinkedIn. Adam's going to talk about video. I'm going to talk about latest algorithms. We'll talk about review campaigns. But it's a really cool group of people. You learn just as much from the other attendees as you do from the speakers, which is what we try to do for our conferences.
Conferences.
Yeah.
If you are a conference organizer, odds of you listening to my podcast are slim, but nonetheless, please make sure that the information, the education, the enlightenment, the connections that your audience is going to have with your speakers is on par with the, how do I put this? The connection, the masterminding, the iron sharpens iron kind of activity that your attendees, your audience are going to get from your other attendees. Those are both so important. You can't have great content and a bunch of shitty attendees. got to be
pretty
both.
much.
Okay. Can't do it.
And those tickets are $147. And that's again June 30th. And then probably in the next 30 days or so, tickets for Mile High Mastermind. For those that didn't already buy early bird tickets last year, Mile High Mastermind tickets will be on sale for September 16, 17. And shout out to University of Denver for that one. And honestly, a shout out to Mindy's daughter, Haley, who's the one who told us to start looking at schools for events. So super thankful.
We got screwed by a hotel a few years ago, didn't we?
Yeah. Don't use hotels for events.
Don't
guys.
use hotels for your events. Again, if you're an event planner, pretty please.
Yeah.
There are some you can't avoid, like Podfest.
But $40 for a gallon of coffee.
You're just never going to find a venue that could host Podfest outside of a giant hotel resort. But
that's true.
That kind of thing. All right, what other kind of crap can they get from your text code?
All of our recent episodes of the show, 5 years worth, which is insane. 5.5 years worth is where we're basically at. You can find the podcast on Spotify and on Apple. Still fighting with Amazon. They are proving to be the hardest one to get listed.
Harder than Apple.
Yeah, and Apple's difficult. You can get our weekly little tip. You can book a free hour of coaching with us. Find out more about us as coaches, along with David Ryder, who does our LinkedIn coaching. Basically anything you could want to know about just the tips, you can get by texting tips to 63566.
Okay. Well, very cool. Probably even get a copy of my first book.
Oh, yeah. This
just
one
the
right
tips.
Here. This one right here.
Yeah. Working. I'm chipping away at the next one, too.
All right. Then I'm going to have to hold up 2 books.
The goal is end of the year.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to start putting up signs in your office. Write 10 pages.
Write 10 pages. Well, the format of the book is a little different. 10 pages might be a big bone to chew on for a daily activity. All right. So for the rest of you, thank you so much for tuning in. We do this just about every week. We do go live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn at 10:30 Mountain Time. There are a few exceptions, holiday weekends, those kinds of things, but we probably crank out 40 to 45 episodes a year.
Yep.
So that's when you can catch us live. Obviously, you can watch any of those broadcasts in syndication. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and eventually Amazon, I guess, as the podcasts go. And I guess that's really about it for this week.
Yeah, we'll be back next week, and then we are taking Memorial Day off. So
I can't believe we're that close to Memorial Day.
Right?
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Don't know where the time goes. Well, Jen, run our extra. Thank you again, Christina, and to all of those that watch or listen live or in syndication. We appreciate you too. Have a great week.
Bye, guys.